Okay. Good morning, everyone. Happy Earth Day. A very special day. I hope you guys are doing what some of you already said, taking a walk outside, breath of fresh air, thanking Mama Earth for all that she does for us. Yeah, I call her a she. Isn't she referred to as a she? So we will honor Earth Day throughout our practice, and perhaps think of something related to the earth that you are grateful for as we begin. Let's sit up tall. Feel your seat, not on the earth, but on your chair. So in yoga, I usually say, if we're sitting, feel your sitting bones on the earth. We're feeling it on the chair, but feel your feet pressing into the earth. And we'll start by pressing the right foot down into the earth. Notice what happens as you press your foot down. And then inhale and let that go. And then press your left foot down. Now you can't see me doing it. I can't see you doing it, but press your foot down into the earth and notice how the muscles start to activate. And then we'll release. Now press both feet down. Press both feet down into the earth, your sitting bones down into the chair. Take a breath in and a breath out. And a breath in through the nose and out through the nose. Let's make circles on the sitting bones. So you're going to rock to your side and forward and other side and back. Noticing how the belly engages as we lean back. And you may feel a lessening of that engagement as we lean forward. Let's tip to, we'll do the north, south, east, and west today, right? For the compass of our earth. So for me, let's see, leaning forward will be north. Leaning back will be south. Leaning to the left will be west. Or this is your right, this is your right. And then, so the right will be west and the left will be east. Oh boy, sometimes I confuse myself. I can't imagine what you're thinking. So north forward, south backward, west to the right, east to the left. Good. And let's rock towards the right a little bit more and possibly come up onto the toes of the left foot as we lean to the right. Notice what's going on in the belly. Notice how your body's feeling when we're leaning one way. And now let's actively push the left foot down and lean to the left. Lift the right heel as you lean. Breathe in and breathe out. Press down through both feet as you rise and circle your arms out to the side. West and east, east and west. Spread your fingers. Spread them wildly. Exhaling, lower them down. Feel your belly with your left hand and your chest with your right hand. Tune into your breath. Breathe in through the nose. Breathe out through the nose. Breathe in, feel the belly expand. Breathe out, feel the belly soften back down. Now, you know, I like to talk about this a lot. So we want to feel the belly expanding first on the inhale, and then softening back down on the exhale. So we really shouldn't feel much going on in the chest cavity as we begin to inhale. You might feel it at the end of the inhale though, possibly, depending upon the depth of the breath. Breathe in, belly expands. Left hand is pressing outward. Exhale, belly softens back down. Lower your arms down by your side. Inhale, take them outward. Lift them up towards the sky. They don't have to come all the way up yet. We haven't quite warmed up. Reach to the corners of your room. Reach to the corners of the earth, right? But it's round. What do we do? Exhale, circle your arms downward. And then inhale, bend your elbows as though your fingers are going to touch with elbows out to the side. Circle them back down. Inhale, lift up. Just starting to feel the wings on your back as we move. Imagine you are drawing the circumference of the earth. And you may or may not start to straighten your arms. You might feel some crunchies or hear something going on in the shoulder area. Exhale, we lower. And then inhale, we lift up. Good. Lower your left arm down, keeping the right arm rising upwards. Take a side bend now towards your left. Breathe in and breathe out, lowering the arm down. You might follow the arm with your gaze as we move. Left arm rises, right arm is down. I like to reach up first, get really long through both sides of the body. Feel your belly. It's going to tone as you lift up and out of the waist and press your hips into the chair. Take your side bend towards the right. Breathe in. Feel expansion through the side of the body, through the left side of the body as we reach to the right. Inhale, open it up, perhaps gaze at your fingers, lowering your hand down. Circle the shoulders around and about, and then the other way. I keep thinking that circular motions are about the earth today. And let's open on up into goddess pose. So toes are out to the side, knees are over middle toes. Anchor your hips down to the chair. Let's do a few right here, pelvic toning breaths. So as you inhale, you feel that belly expand, and you can take your hands to your belly to feel that. But as you exhale, squeeze the pelvic floor muscles in and up. Not so tight that you're crunching everywhere, but there's a toning, you're pulling in and up. And then inhale and let that go. This is a good place to do it because our legs are wide. Now, you don't have to have your legs as wide as I have them. You can always bring them in a bit or take them out, making adjustments based on how your body and your inner thighs are feeling this morning. Let's do that again. So we take an inhale. On the exhale, pull the pelvic floor muscles towards each other. And then on the inhale, you let it go. So notice how even your legs feel like they're working because we're going to pull them in towards each other. So inhale in through the nose. Exhale, pull the pelvic floor muscles in towards each other. Push down through your feet and pull your heels inward. Notice the toning that's going on. Where do you feel it in your body? I feel I'm feeling my feet pulling in. I'm feeling my hips anchor down. I'm feeling this toning upwards into the torso. And then we inhale, we let that go. It's just as important to let go as it is to tone. Bring your right forearm to the thigh and lift your left elbow around and about as we start to make sure this shoulder joint is opening up. And you might trace the earth with your arm and your hand and your fingers. And then eventually find that spot where your arm is towards over your ear. It may not be directly over your ear, but we're drawing it closer. So we tend to be out here. So try to pull it back without feeling locked or locked in. And then from here, lengthen through the elbow and the wrist towards that diag, so towards the corner of the earth to your right, kind of like northwest. Reach, and then keeping the arm long, pull the arm bone back so you feel it in the socket. Now, this is a little bit detailed. You can pay attention or you can ignore me. The pinky side is down and the thumb is up. Let's try that again. So it looks like this. So here's pinky up, here's pinky down. Here's pinky up, here's pinky down. When we turn the pinky down, the whole arm bone is going to eventually externally rotate in the socket. That might be too much information, but try it. So while you're reaching, turn the pinky up. Notice how that feels. As long as it feels okay, it is okay. But in order to get it in alignment, we're going to turn the pinky down, thumb is up. You know, no pain, all gain, right? Reach to the corner. The arm might start getting a little fatigued, so we better come on up. Push down through the balls of your toes, lift your heels as you rise up, arms into T. Awesome. Hug yourself, right arm over left, big hug. Now feel your feet. Push the big toe mounds down and then all the way across to the pinkies. Feel whatever there is to feel back behind you. You might kind of give yourself a little massage with your fingertips there. Open it up, lower the heels down. And exhaling, left forearm to the thigh. Lifting the right elbow around and about. So it's kind of like free form here. It gives you some time to feel the range of motion, to get to know your shoulder. I'm working on a video right now, and the videographer decided he wanted to put in some like electronic stuff, like some circles and highlighting body parts. And I'm like, I think people know where their shoulders are. Do we have to have those circles there like that? And so it really made me think about, is that necessary or not? And then we started saying, well, do people know? Because a lot of times we don't know where our body is in space. So the yoga helps us to find that. We're reaching now towards our left. We'll call it about southeast. Southeast. Now that may be very different than the way your house is facing. Actually, mine's facing, actually that is southeast. Now that I think about it, I had to think for a minute. Turn your pinky up and your thumb down. And then thumb up, pinky down. Notice how that feels. So we want the pinky down eventually. So this arm bone is turning outwards. Lengthen through the elbow, the arm, the wrist. Take a breath in and a breath out. Push down through your feet, rise up, heels rise. Good. Hug, opposite way, opposite arm on top. So maybe left, might be right. Give yourself a big hug, as though you were hugging Mama Earth. So let's give Mama Earth a big hug today and show her how much we love her. Exhale, lower the arms down, out to the side, and then down into your lap. Good. This is a long time for your thighs to be open. Let's bring the legs back in. Inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, place them down. Inhale, they rise. And exhale, they lower. Good. Let's bring the right knee in towards us. Hug it. Hug it in towards you. You might feel the thigh touch your belly. Breathe in. And breathe out. Breath is in. and breath is out. Slowly lower it mindfully. You can let the foot kind of drop so you feel stimulation on the bottom of the foot. Let it go. There you go. Let's pick it up again. Pick up the leg. Now you can use a tie to pick up your leg or your hands underneath your thigh. Or you can just pull it in and up. But notice we don't want to strain. We're going to strengthen the hip flexor area. We don't want to strain it though. So pull it in, lift tall, exhale, let it go. You're going to have a little bit of a thud as long as it doesn't hurt. No hurting allowed. Inhale, lift it up. Good. This time as it lowers, lift your arms. That's it. Interlace your fingers, press your palms upright. Awesome. Come towards forward in your chair. That's it. Walk your hips right and left. And then take your hands to the side of the chair. Draw the shoulders up and back. Lean forward. You can grab the back of the chair or the side of the chair. As you lean forward, your shoulders are moving up and back. So it's a little bit of a back bend. And then if we drop our head back, that doesn't feel so good. You know, I like to talk about that. So we want our spine and our neck and our head all in alignment together. Looking forward and down, I'd say forward maybe even about 5 feet in front to find that length through the back of the neck. Now we're going to press down through our feet and inhale, arms rise. And exhale, pull the palms down to heart center. Good. Press your fingers in towards each other. Elbows are out to the side, but slightly dropped. Feel the strength. Now you're holding the earth in your hands. In between, you got the sphere of the earth in your palms. You're wrapping your fingers around it. Push the thumbs in towards each other. The pinkies in. Pointer, middle, and ring fingers. Press them in towards each other and feel your strength. But notice the jaw and the face should not be tense. And then exhale and let that go. Lifting the left leg. Lifting the left leg. So as we lift it, our belly tones, we draw our shoulders up and back. Now breathe here. Take a breath in. Feel the belly expand. Exhale out through the nose. Breathe in and breathe out. Exhale, let the leg go. Just let it go. You get to control how hard you drop it. We're not looking for, we want to be nice. We want to be nice, but it's also nice to have a little stimulation on the bottom of the foot. So hard enough where you feel some stimulation, but soft enough where you don't feel pain or injury. Inhale, lift it up. Grow tall. Exhale, let it go. Ooh, I let it go a little bit harder that time. Just notice this is gravity, right? One more time. You can use the strap underneath your thigh if that leg's feeling heavy. It is like lifting weights. The leg is heavy. These are heavy bones, that's the femur bones. So it's the heaviest bone in the body. And as we drop it, lift your arms up. Good. Interlace the fingers and press the wrist lines upwards. Good. Exhale, take a side bend towards your right. Inhale, lifting towards the left. Inhale, lift up. And now place your hands behind your head. We kind of did this last time because we had a lot of people saying neck is in pain. So I love giving the neck traction. And one of the best ways to do, well, there's a few ways we can do this. One is to take our hands underneath the ponytail line. I know you guys all have ponytails, right? So imagine you have a ponytail. And so your hands are underneath the ponytail and you're hugging the back of your skull and your neck with your hands, but you're not pushing your head forward. You're pressing gently back into your palms. And the elbows can come forward. Then press the skin along your back of your skull upwards, and just feel that nice little traction there. So you can be seated or standing. You know, during this class, you can always be seated or standing. It is your choice. How are you feeling at this moment? You can do a mixture too. You can do a mixture too. Yeah, I see some of you decided to stand, and it's great either way, because you get to make the practice your own. Exhale, let that go. And let's do a shoulder opener. You can use a strap. You can use the cane. So we're going to bend the right arm, so the elbow's bent, and then just tap yourself back behind there. And you can give yourself a little tap, right? Little tap. Feel that. And then you're going to use the lower arm and you're going to bend it and maybe go back behind here. Now, your fingers aren't going to necessarily touch. So that's where the strap comes in. You can let that go. And you can take the strap and take it back behind you like this. And this might be enough, by the way. Just using the top arm may be enough. If you feel like your shoulders are up to it, you may take your hand back behind, and if you have a strap, you can grab it. If you don't have a strap, you can grab your shirt. Or you can just imagine it. What we're doing is the top hand is moving downward and the bottom arm is moving upwards. Now, what tends to happen is this front shoulder tends to move forward. So we pull it back, and then you might lean back into your upper arm. You may or you may not, wherever it's touching. But think about the head rising skyward. So the top of the head is rising skyward. And the stretch, where would we feel it? Right around here, right around here. So the upper arm. Now, to let this go, just let the strap go. Otherwise, it gets kind of awkward. No injuries, right? Just let it go. It's not going to go far. It can be done with a cane. I'll show that because it's kind of fun. Probably turning it upside down is a good idea. But so this time we're going to bend the left arm, and then I'm going to take the cane back behind there like that. And by the way, here we go. This could be enough. Just taking your hand behind your head. That could be enough. Now notice how this shoulder's kind of dropping. So I'm going to remind myself, lift the shoulders up and back. Then I can take the other arm, the right hand, and walk up the cane with that hand and down with the upper hand. And we're just moving them slowly towards each other. And then we breathe, right? So you feel it. You try to ask yourself, how do the shoulders feel? We want to draw them up and back. I'm even feeling the cane behind my head. I could lean slightly back into it. We want to keep the chin parallel with the earth. Breathe in and breathe out, and breathe in and breathe out. And then let it go. Just let it go. Either with your strap or your cane now. Go back to the strap, but you can use either one. You're going to take the strap wider than your shoulders. That's it. And you're going to lift it skyward. And then exhale, bring it forward. Now, as you have your hands on here, we don't want to squeeze so hard that we're bringing tension in. We want to hold it firmly. So holding the strap firmly, it's forward. Then we lift it upwards. You can widen your arms like we did in the V earlier and see how far it'll go up and potentially back. So I'm going to show you, when it's really narrow, it's going to be hard to go back. But when it's wide, you can go further back. So give yourself lots of space. Take up space on this earth today. Open up like, oh, how wonderful, right? Oh, how wonderful. So pulling the tie apart like it's taut and move it back behind you and feel. And let's do that one more time. Strap is forward. Take it on back behind you. That's it. And the more you do this, the further back you might go over time. So we just warm up. We're just warming up the body, even though it is getting warmer outside. Now keep the strap or the cane, and we will do triangle pose in the chair. We're going to do triangle pose to the right. So the right leg's going to go out to the side and the left knee is forward. And of course, those of you who want to practice triangle pose standing, feel free. All right. So one thing that's nice with the cane or the strap is to kind of pull, put the cane behind the foot and then pull the toes in. That's kind of nice. That feels really good. Hard to do if you're standing though. So you want to make sure you keep this knee soft. So we're not locking the leg, and feel the sensation of lengthening through the right leg. Then for triangle, I'm going to unhook this, and you can lower your right arm down towards the lower leg. You can put it on a block, or hand is on leg, or hand is on stick. Hand is on the stick, the cane. And then we lift potentially the left arm up, So this is actually really a nice side bend at the same time. Then lean slightly back, breathe in. And as you breathe out, think expansion. Reach out through your arms, from your heart out through your arms and your fingertips. Let's push down through our heel and our foot and rise up. Awesome. Take a little break. Feel the body. We're going to do it one more time, and we'll do a little variation. If you want, the upper arm, the hand can go behind your head if it's accessible for you. That's one way. And then you can lean your head back into your hand. I will show that. So here we go. Bending the top elbow and then leaning your head into the hand. So we're not pushing it forward. We're actually pressing it back into the hand. The elbows upwards. This cane is kind of nice. It does give some stability. Now, if I take the cane away and we lean like that, so I'm pushing the hand into the leg, or fingertips into block. But what we don't want to do is hang down into that block. So we are using our core to keep ourselves in alignment and lifted. Lengthen the arm, push down through the heel and the foot, rise up, woo, hands together. Drag your right heel in towards you. You're going to feel, ooh, I'm taking the mat with me. Drag it in towards you and feel your hamstrings activate. Try that again. You can hold on to the side of the chair while you do it. Drag your heel out slowly and then pull it back in slowly. That's working the back of your leg, your hamstrings. People say, how can I strengthen my hamstrings? You drag them. That's one way to do it, right? All right, let's bring that knee back in. And rock right and left, east and west, west and east. And come back to neutral, feeling both sitting bones heavy on the chair. When I mean heavy, I mean feeling about equal. And you are aware of them on the chair. Or if you're standing, you're feeling your feet on the earth. Now we're going to take the left leg out to the side. Now, if you're not using a cane to pull the toes in and you're seated, then you can use a strap around your foot. And it looks like this. And that's a nice stretch. It's a nice stretch, pulling the ball of the foot in towards you. Make sure the shoulders up and back so it's in alignment at all times. Pushing out through the ball of the foot, spreading the toes. We'll let that go. And then placing your block or your cane or your stick or your arm, we're going to place it onto the leg. I'm going to place the back of my hand onto the leg, and I'm pressing gently the back of the hand onto the leg. So there's this isometric. And then the leg, there's a little bit of pressure pushing into the arm, just a little bit. Then we may lift the right arm skyward. Elbow may be bent. Breathe here. Feel your body in space, on this earth, in this pose. Breathe in and breathe out. Let's push down through the heel, push down through the right foot. So root into the earth to rise up. Relax the arms. Root to rise, root to rise. We're always using that in yoga, in several of the standing poses, several of the seated poses, several of the poses on the earth. It's a root to rise. Okay, here we go one more time, and maybe the hands behind the head to lean back slightly. So our torso is going to lean towards the left leg. Doesn't matter how far you go down, tone your belly. Maybe the hand comes, or just even the fingertips come behind your head. Lean your head back into your fingertips as the elbow rises. Breathe in and breathe out. Leaning back into the fingertips, but the fingertips are giving a little bit gentle pressure into the back of the head. Now we're going to press down through the left heel and the right foot to rise up. Lower the arms down. Let's activate the hamstrings. So dragging the left heel in towards you slowly activates the hamstrings. You could do repetitions of that if you wanted to really work them. We'll do it a few more times. But if you're ever wondering, one way is to drag the heel back in. And then let's press it away and drag it in. Good, let's close this up. And it's Earth Day, so we're going down to the earth, right? Fridays are seated and down to the Earth Day. Wednesdays are seated and standing poses. So great thing that Earth Day is today. We are in alignment. So take your chair, place it where it can be safe so you can lower down. Bring your blanket. If you'd like one, if you usually use one, bring your strap. I don't think I need the cane right now. And then a block. Or two. If you know you use 2 blocks, then bring 2 blocks and come on down to the earth. So your chair may be against the wall so that it's not going to slide. You might put a blanket underneath your knees so that you're safe. No rushing. Safety is number one priority. Number one priority. And then we're going to go into table pose. So you might put a blanket under your knees to cushion them. And then you're going to bring your knees about hip distance apart and your hands about shoulder distance apart. They can be a little wider if that's comfortable for you. So placing your palms on the earth. Now, if your wrists are sore, you can come down into your forearms, or you can hold a block. So these blocks are a little bit more cushy. You might put your hands on the blocks to give a little bit more cushion. If it's available to you, then place your palms down onto the earth and spread your fingers like rays of the sun. The hands are just, if you look down, your hands would be slightly forward of your shoulders. So when they're just right under your shoulders, it can feel kind of suffocating. So if you walk them forward and a little wider, notice how that feels. Then feel your table. So our hips are over our knees, and we're going to tone our belly by tucking the tailbone down to the knees. So it's angling down to the knees, but that's our neutral table. And then our belly tones. Then we're going to extend the right leg back behind us, curling the toes under and pushing the heel away. And you can rock forward and back a few times to feel a stretch through the back of the calf. On your next exhale, pull the knee in towards you, towards your heart or towards your right wrist. So on our exhale, we're going to bring the knee in. It doesn't matter. It's not necessarily going to touch. Bring it in and up as you press down through your palms, and then extend the leg back. The leg may be lifted or the toes may be downward. We're going to do that again. Pull it in, knee towards chest, knee towards arm, and then extend it back. Toes are down or up. If they're up, the heel is about level with the left hip. Then we're going to pull our belly in and up. Now notice I can't see myself. I've got to feel. Then you may take your left fingertips forward and lift the arm upwards, potentially, or left hand goes on a block. That is a nice option. Or left fingertips are down. So you get to choose. There's so many combinations in spinal balance. You can have toes down, arm up, hand down, leg up, both legs up, leg and arm up. Both legs up would be a tricky. Or fingertips down and toes down. And let's take a little break here. So you can either sit back or stand on your knees and circle your wrists around and about. Because we were down there a bit. You might kind of open up the fingers like you're splurting water at somebody. That could be fun. And then we will go down again. I'm going to show you a little wrist release. So we'll go back to our table, but then you can take the back of the hand and press it in or place it downward as you rock forward and back. That's one way to get a stretch. And another way is to place the hand down and then turn it outwards and rock back. Now you're going to feel the different places. I'm pretty hypermobile, so I can turn my fingers all the way back as I lean forward and back. But you might want to start out to the side and see how that feels for you. It's a good little release. And then we'll let that go. Let's do the other side. So taking the back of the hand down, you can circle your hips while you're doing this, or just rock, or even just stay still and feel. And then place the palm down and turn the fingers outward, and then rock forward and back. Just these little changes up. Let that call go. Just let it go. I don't know why they call me on Friday morning at 10 o'clock. Just let that call go. I'll be right back with you. Breathing in and breathing out as you do the wrist release on the left side. And then you're going to bring all back into table pose, and we'll do spinal balance on the left side. So you're going to extend the left leg back, curling the toes under, pressing out through the heel. Press the heel back. And we're rocking forward and back. Then, with our next exhale, pull your knee in towards you. Doesn't matter how high it goes, you're lifting it up and towards you. It's nice to lift it up and forward. So you go to your extent, whatever accessible for you. Then we're going to extend the leg back and do it again. Pull it in and up. Belly pulls in and up. And then extend back. And one more, pull it in. And you might be feeling this in your opposite hip because it's weight bearing, which is good for it. Extend it back. Now toes can be down or up. And then make your choice about which version of spinal balance you want on this side. So you might have your hand on a block in front of you, your opposite hand, your right hand. You might have the fingertips down. You might lift the arm. Same thing with the leg. Toes down, toes up, so that foot is in line with the hip. Once you've found your position, takes about 3 to 5 breaths there. Paying attention to even the foundational arm, make sure it's not locking. Breathe in and breathe out and release and let that go. Let's find a child pose. So for child pose, you actually could do child pose or rabbit pose. We haven't done rabbit that much, but they're kind of percolating around in the spring. So child pose, the knees are generally apart, but you can have them together to support your spine. When the knees are apart, you're going to open up your hips a little more. When the knees are together, that might be more supportive for your lower back. Then we walk our arms forward. Elbows can stay bent if the shoulders are feeling kind of tight, or you can lengthen your arms towards the front of the mat as your hips move back. Now for rabbit, rabbit's not terribly different from it, but stay here for a breath or two and then we'll move into rabbit. So breathe in and breathe out, and you can stay right where you're at. And if you want to do rabbit, you take your arms back behind you instead of forward, and you can lean slightly forward and come up onto your hips are lifting, but you don't have to. You also could put a block underneath your forehead, which I love in child pose anyway, which is super nice. So arms can be back behind you. And hips do not have to lift. It's a variation, but don't put too much. You don't want weight on your neck or your head, or you don't want to strain your neck in any way. Belly pulls in and up. And then we inhale and we feel the belly expand, may even touch the thighs. And then we exhale out through the nose. And let's release and come on to our either side or bellies for a thigh stretch. So you can either be on your belly, and you might have a blanket underneath your rib cage if that's more comfortable for you, or you can be on your side like so. And we're going to bring in the right knee in towards us and give it a hug if we're on our side. And then you're going to take your hand to your pant leg or your ankle or your foot and then pull it back until you feel a stretch. Now this bottom leg, if you're on your side, will provide some balance when it's bent. It'll give you a little bit more of a foundation. And then you're gently pulling the heel in towards your buttocks. Now you don't want the knee up here. You want it down there. And then we're pulling it back. So knee not up, knee down, and pull back. If you're on your belly, then you can either stay on your forearms and lift your right leg, lower leg, or you can rest your forehead on your forearm and hand and grab your pant leg or your ankle and heel and pull it in. You're pulling it in to where you feel a stretch in your thigh. The goal is not to touch your heel to your hip. So notice what you are feeling. and then make your adjustments. Now, the isometric is to push the foot into the hand and the hand into the foot. You'll feel a little toning. Shoulders up and back, and then breathe in and breathe out. Breath is in and breath is out. And then we'll release that and let it go. And in between sides, whether you were on your belly or your side, you can let your hips sway right and left. And then turn to the other side. I'll move this way so you can see me on the side. You can always rest your hand or you rest your head on your arm like so. So it's a little pillow. Then bending the bottom knee for balance and taking the left knee in towards you and then kick it back and then kick it back. So as you pull the foot in, that increases the stretch. So notice where you feel it. You don't want to feel any strain in the knee. The knee needs to be in alignment with the hip, not up here, because that's not in alignment. So down here, that's where we want to feel it. We're pulling it in. Breathe in and breathe out. And then let that go. We're going to do little clam shells here. So you're still on your side. Everyone go onto their side, whether you are on your belly or your side. And you're going to bring your feet together like this. And your knees are apart. So your upper knee is pointing upwards. And then you're going to open and close. Now you can use your top hand for balance by placing it in front of you. And we're going to do some repetitions. So you exhale, you lower the knee down. Inhale, you lift it up. Exhaling, lowering. Inhaling, lifting. Exhale, we lower. Inhale, we lift. Few more. I know it's like, is this yoga? But it's a way to tone the back, the glute muscles. Good thing to do. We'll turn it into yoga in a moment. And then you can extend your leg, push out through the heel. And then bend the knee in towards you. Give it a hug. Place it back down. And we're going to come up. You can actually stay where you're at or come up onto your forearm, and we'll play a little bit with toning in the side obliques. So you can either be on your forearm with your elbow just a little bit forward of your shoulder. So like this, and your other hand, your top hand can be resting on a block, a pillow, or the earth, like so. And then you're going to lift your torso up. So on your exhale, you lift the torso. You inhale, you let it go. Exhale, pull in. Inhale, let it go. Now, if this is tough on your shoulder, you can come down here and do the same thing, lifting the ribs off of the earth and pulling the belly in. So that's the exhale on the lift. So you inhale, you exhale, you pull in and up. Inhale, let it go. Exhale, pull in. Inhale, let it go. Exhale, pull in. Inhale, let it go. Either way is perfect, or you could do a few each way. If you really want to feel it, then the more repetitions you do, the more you feel, but don't fatigue yourself. We still have more class to do. So a few more. Exhale, you pull in. Inhale, you release. And then we will come into seated for a moment to switch sides. And in between, find a butterfly. So you can sit on a blanket for your butterfly or a block. You don't want your back hanging back. So this is back hanging back. and it's circling back and everything, and then my upper body is hunching forward. The blanket or the block helps to tip the pelvis forward. So a block can be very helpful, or a cushion or pillows. And then hands are on ankles, shoulders are up and back. Feel your butterfly right here. And this is a nice wide place to be. So you're open through the knees, opening up the inner thighs. Breathe in and breathe out. We're going to do a twist. So you're going to twist to your right, bringing the left hand towards the right leg and the right hand behind you. Keep tall through the spine as you twist towards your right. Neck turns last. You might even soften your eyes and feel your breath. Soft breath in through the nose and out through the nose. And then inhale to center and exhale other way. Left hand behind you, right hand to your leg or thigh, shoulder up and back. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathing in and breathing out. And then we will lean to the other side to do our clam shells here. So the other night I was doing a lot of these and I could really feel it. So you could work up to more repetitions over the weekend, right? So lying either on your arm that's bent or coming up onto your elbow. So we're going to bring our feet together and we're going to pull the knees in and then away. And notice what you feel. You can take your hand there to see what's working. You might notice that one side feels it more before the other side does. And that is information for you. It is information. It's not a bad or a good. I'm feeling it more on this side, almost right away. So knee comes down, knee comes up. Now this is a little different than lifting the legs like that. It gets at a different muscle. So feet are together for this glute. Now, what makes it yoga? We're breathing when we do it. So inhale, knees up, exhale it down through the nose. We'll do a few more. And then you can always shake it out. If you start to cramp, shake it out. Then we're going to lengthen the leg. Stretch it out, maybe do a few little pulses here. That's nice. Push out through the heel. Hug it in towards you. Maybe kick it away. And then bring both knees stacked over each other. Stay right here. You're going to start lifting your left rib cage up. Actually, you're seeing this as the right. The right rib cage is lifting up. Ay, another call. Ignore it. Ignore it. Do your pulses, lifting your rib cage upward and downward. So lower ribs, lift up, exhale, lower down. Exhale, belly pulls in, ribs lift. Inhale, lower down. If you want, you can come up onto your forearm, which I'll show in a minute when that goes away. Here we go. So you can come on your forearm. And again, the elbow is forward of the shoulder. Then we're lifting the ribs up and down. Pull it in and lower it. Lift the ribs up and let them lower. On the exhale, you're pulling the ribs up. On the inhale, you're letting it go. Exhale, we pull in. Inhale, we release. Exhale, pulling in. Inhale, release. Exhale, it's in. Inhale, it releases. Pull it in, release. One more, pull it in, and release. And let's lie down onto our back. Make sure you have your strap or your cane so that we can do our hamstring stretch. We'll do a bridge though first. You might want to place a block in between your inner thighs. It's not absolutely necessary to do it, but you can to feel your inner thighs working to provide a little stability. Feet are forward. Hands are down, arms are down by your side, and then you can bend your elbows. We're going to push down through our feet. We're going to make sure there's space in between our neck and the mat, so we're not pushing our neck into the mat. We'll lift on up, tone your hips. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Toning the hips, hugging the block. Breath is in and breath is out. Exhale, lower down. Give yourself a little break here. Now, if you're feeling tired, you can always stick a block underneath your hips and rest here. This is a wonderful place to rest. This is a wonderful place to counter text forward head and shoulders. I guess we could call it text posture. So you could rest here, or we'll do one more active bridge. So pushing down through the feet, lifting the hips. You might walk your shoulders underneath you. You can have your elbows bent, palms facing each other, or interlace your fingers underneath. You can rock side to side. Just make sure that your neck is not vulnerable, which means we're not pushing the neck down into the mat. Heels are pushing down. Feet are pressing down. Tone the pelvic floor muscles. Feel your bridge pose for a few counts. So you're going to feel you might even feel your hamstrings working a little bit here as you push your heels down and towards you. And then we'll lower the hips on down. Bring your knees in towards you to give yourself a hug and circle around on the earth. And then reverse your circle. You're actually working core here. You do not have to hug your legs, and you might notice it a little bit differently. But circling around in your lower spine can feel really good. Then we're going to drop the feet down and take the tie around the foot. Either foot is fine. And you might want to cross the tie. Not a requirement, but it's kind of a nice way to get a little bit of, you can pull on it a little bit more. Like you can pull on one side of the tie and help to make your footprint so it's going straight up towards the sky. Now the knee can be bent. If you're tight behind your hamstrings, the leg may not straighten. That's okay. And we can kind of pulse it a bit too. Slowly pressing the footprint up, bending the knee back in. If you're feeling really mobile and stretched, you can lengthen the bottom leg. And then it's like you're pulling your legs away from each other. Now the tie, you're pulling on it with your shoulders relaxed down. So you're going to feel like this bone is just going right, the femur bone is going right into the hip socket. Acetabulum, those fancy words. It's good to stay here, 5 to 10 breaths. When you're ready, you take the leg out to the side. Now we don't want the hip, the opposite hip, the left hip to creep up. So keep that hip down. You can tack it down with your hand, even your mind's eye telling it to tack down so you get more level. And we lift the leg back up. Now, if you're feeling super rigid, stay in these poses a little bit longer. You can stay in with them for several minutes as long as you feel like you're getting benefit from it. You can kind of test it out and see how long. When you stay in it for a minute, how does it feel after? When you stay in it for a few minutes, how does it feel after? Now you might cross the leg over your midline. Woo! I always feel this one. So that's when the right leg is moving to the left over. So it's crossing over the other knee, the left knee. And we'll lift the leg back up and slowly let it go down. And just feel. You might even lengthen the other leg to just feel the difference in how the legs feel. Then we're going to do the left leg. I'm just going to turn here. So we start in our bridge prep pose with the knees bent in constructive rest. And then we take the strap around the foot. And you might find that one leg feels more flexible than the other one. We still love them equally. So you can play with spreading your toes, with pushing your heel upward, with pretending you're pressing on the gas. You can close your eyes so you really feel the sensation in your body, in your leg as you do the stretch. Opening the leg out to the side. Feeling the strap press into your arch. You'll feel that sensation even up the leg as you pull the strap into your arch. Soft breathing in these postures. And then lifting the leg and take the leg over the midline. Now you can use your hand to push the skin away on your thigh as you take the leg towards your right. I've got a wall in the way, but you could let the leg fall all the way down. It's going to feel different than if it only goes about a third of the way down. But this is getting in the outside of the hip area or along the side of the leg into what's called the IT band. And then the leg lifts up and we release. And you can take a final spinal twist of your choice, or I will show you one. Since we didn't do a ton of hip opening today, we could bring in our right knee towards us, lengthen the left leg, and then let the right knee fall to the left with your arms in cactus or T. And your other knee can bend a little bit. I was looking for something to put under the knee. You can place a block or a blanket under the knee for it to rest there. You can use your opposite hand and place it on the leg. And then you can move your opposite arm. So this is the way I'm twisting is to the left. So I can use my right arm and kind of move it around a little bit, and you'll feel a stretch in the front towards the pec area in front of the right chest area, shoulder area. And then you also can rest the back of your arm on a block or a blanket as well, if the arm is lifted off the earth so that it has something to rest on. And stay there for, again, as long as you want before you do the other side. And I recommend on your own, you can spend time in these poses. You can spend several minutes in some of these poses to really get the feeling. It'll change over time. So the opposite side, bringing the left knee in and letting it fall to the right. And you can have a block or blanket under the knee or not. You might just have your hand pulling it in. So it's a nice way to twist the spine. We're twisting the body. And in a twist, there's so many benefits. Now with our knee bent like this, you might be feeling it in the outside of your hip. You might be feeling a stretch along the front of the shoulder. You're twisting your abdominal organs with conscious breath, conscious breathing. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Inhale, take both knees up, back to neutral. Line up your hips with your shoulders and decide what you would like for your restorative pose. So your restorative pose could be Shavasana. You might place a bolster underneath your knees for support for your lower back. You might put your feet up on a chair. There's so many options. You could also lie in lying down butterfly if you'd like. You just want to make sure you support your knees so they don't feel strained. So choose your restorative pose. This is a good way to start the weekend, to really give your body the rest that it needs. And while you're resting, let your breath return to natural. So you're not trying to change it in any way. It's soft. It's slow. It is a belly breath. And the air is coming in and out through your nose. And while you're doing that, I want you to think about someone in your life that helps you. When you're with that person, you can just be yourself. You feel free and open to just be. And then think of a place that when you go there, you feel comforted and welcome. A place to just be. It could be a special room in your house. It could be a corner. It could be someplace outside or at the beach. And think of that as your body rests. And you might think of a time of day where you feel calm. For me, it's first thing in the morning. The sun's barely risen. There's not too much stirring around. Notice think about a time in your day that you often feel relaxed to just be. When your nervous system is in that rest and digest state. So this is a type of anchoring that you can do to help relax the nervous system. You're thinking of the who, the person that you might be with, the place you might be, the time you might be. Perhaps something that is comfortable for you, such as a sweater or your favorite pet rack or your pet. And this is a way, this anchoring idea is a way to bring the nervous system into this state of rest and relaxation. And as we close our practice together, we'll bring our palms in front of our heart. So rising slowly, or I welcome you to stay in your rest and digest pose. To just be exactly as you are. Perfect. Wishing you a wonderful weekend on this Earth Day, but Earth Day is really every day, isn't it? Take a breath of fresh air. Namaste, everyone. Have a wonderful day.